Hey guys, it's just Julian, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial today because heaps of guys have been asking me to do a tutorial. So I thought I would do a manipulation tutorial. And sorry about my computer being loud, it's so hot. So you're just going to have to bear with me. But I'll be doing a tutorial with that on my background right now. It's just kind of like a weird globe thing I made, but people seem to like it because it does look quite nice. So yeah, we'll be making that a slightly different version of that because I don't want to make the exact same, but I'll have a tutorial pack full of these 19 images here, and you can download that and you can pause the video, download that, open up Photoshop, and you can do it step by step with me, or you can just watch along like a normal tutorial and kind of pick up all the commands and all the tools I'm using. So you can do it two ways, but I encourage you to download the pack because as well as having learning a bunch of new stuff, you get to make a really cool background. So start by making your Photoshop canvas. So open up Photoshop, new, and I have it saved to the preset I suggest you do, but it's 3840, so 3840 by 2160. They're the dimensions where I do most of my photo manipulations because it is such high quality. It's double 1080p, so it's very HD. So once you've created your layer, we'll just make this full screen. Yep. So you get a background every single time I do this. I just go down to the new layer tool here in the bottom bar, new layer. And the new layer is just the one with the little page flipped over. I just delete the background and make a new layer. It's a nice fresh canvas instead of that background. So we actually need a white background. So we'll start with the white. We'll click on the paint bucket tool and go to our color here. Drag it right to the corner of the white, and then just click on the screen to paint the screen white. And we'll go to a tutorial pack, and we want to drag on the first image that we're going to start working with. So I think we should probably get the grass of the sphere going first. So this tennis ball texture makes an awesome kind of template for the grass. So we'll drag in that tennis ball, and we want it nice and big, so just fit it to screen like it usually comes in. And the only problem with the tennis ball is it has these lines, so I'm going to show you how to get rid of the lines. We only need to get rid of the lines on one side, so you won't really worry about that side, but we'll just do it on this side. Actually, we might do it on the other side because they're smaller on that side, so that makes sense. So just rotate it a bit so the line's on the left side, because the left hand side of the ball is going to be grass. So once you have your layer in, make sure you right click rasterize so you can edit the image, and then we're going to go up to a lasso tool up here, the one beneath the marquee tool, and you're just going to select this line here, but we want to kind of keep the contour of the ball going, so just go along the edge here. Doesn't have to be perfect, and then we're going to go down through the line, get the contour of the edge, and go back up and meet it. So just selecting the line, and we want to try to get rid of that line and keep, because there's a little bump in that line how the ball goes in, we want to try and just make it look like a flat ball. So you're going to right click on the screen once you've done that, fill, and then content aware. Content aware uses the picture and uses the textures already in the picture to fix up and sort of blend in whatever you're choosing to deselect. So you could get like a horse or something out of a paddock, select it, and then it'll fill it with grass. So I'm going to press OK, and then let it do its magic. So it can take a little while depending on how big the area it is, and then voila, it does that. So that did a pretty good job of it. I don't think we really need to blend that. It's good enough if you ask me. So we need to cut this ball in half now, so just go to the marquee tool, and actually we won't worry about cutting the ball in half yet. So we've got our tennis ball right here, one side without the line. We want to go back to our folder, and we want to go to the grass 2 JPEG, drag that on, and just sort of fit it to the image. So we want to get a nice square picture. I'll get it to fit to the image. So that's pretty good right there. Just press enter, and then we've got our grass. And we wanted to make it the same shape as a tennis ball now. So to do that, you hold control and then click on the image. So when you hover over the image of the layer, a little box comes up next to your mouse. So just click the layer, and then it selects the edge of that layer. Then we go to our marquee tool, still selected on grass 2 layer, right click on the screen, do select inverse, which inverts it. Instead of selecting the inside of the circle, selects the outside. And then you're going to rasterize your layer so you can edit it. Right click, just press delete actually, yeah, it's the easiest thing to do. And now we have that grass the exact same size as that that tennis ball, and it saved all the little details, all those little fairy bits, so it's awesome. Now we're just going to go through the blend modes, and we want to find one that basically just enhances the detail of that tennis ball and adds a bit of the grass to the detail. So we'll just go through here. If not, you can just find one that does almost a good job. So that one, just turn down the opacity a bit. So let's say we turn it down to 50%, so that looks good. It looks a lot better than that kind of bland tennis ball with a bit of grass texture on it. So I'm going to click on that grass layer and then hold Control and click on the tennis ball layer to select them both, and then Control E, which merges both the layers into one. Control G, some people do Control G, that just groups them into a folder. They're still there in separate layers. So make sure you press Control E. And I think you could do a little bit more texture on that grass, so we'll get our grass, just our normal grass JPEG. We'll drag that in, and because I want this to be quite detailed, we can layer it over each other. So remember, we only need to do half the ball, so we'll just cover half the ball. So make it about that size, that's pretty good. Press enter, and that's quite detailed there. So we'll press Control J, make sure it's selected on the grass layer. I'll just quickly rasterize it first. So right click, rasterize, Control J to duplicate the layer. I'll drag it over here, Control T to bring up the scale selection, just rotate a little bit. That should be good enough. And we want a little bit in, and then we just want to blend it into this grass layer. So we'll go to our rubber, and if your rubber disappears like this, that means caps lock's on, by the way. My caps lock is on, so there it is. And then just go make sure hardness is on 0, the size about that size, whatever size you feel comfortable with. And just rub it out, just blend it. That looks pretty good to me. Yep. And then select both those grass layers, hold Control E to combine them both into one. Then Control J to copy it, and get both of those layers. Control T to scale, and drag it down here and do the exact same thing we did. It's just easier copying both layers in one at a time. Try to have to be more efficient as possible when you do Photoshop, because things like this can take forever, and yeah, it's easier just to do the most easiest way. So I'm going to select both those layers again, hold Control E, so that's all one big layer. Control J to duplicate it again, and we'll do the exact same thing. That should be good. And now we'll blend it, make the brush a little bit bigger, and blend it. And there's still the center to go, so I'll just Control J one more time, and sort of move it a bit like that in the center there, because this top bit actually will need to have a bit of grass, so that should be fine. Just kind of overlay the grass so it covers all of this side. Just make sure to blend in the sides, and you should be good. I'll just duplicate it one more time just to fill in this little bit down here. Alright, that should be awesome. So we've got our grass texture on. So now we'll combine all those grass layers, not the ball, just the ones that we put on. So I clicked on the top layer, held shift, clicked on the bottom layer to select everything in between. Control E, so we now have them all. I'm going to do the same thing we did before. Hold Control, click on the layer of the original ball, click on Marquee tool, right click on the screen, select inverse, click delete. And now we have it the same size as the ball. And then we'll quickly go through the blend modes, and if we can't find a decent blend mode, we'll just have to change the opacity. So I'm quite liking that one there, because it adds a lot of detail, and it's a little bit blotchy. It's not perfect, which is good. Nothing's perfect, so that's fine. So it's just on darker color. So yep, that's all we need, darker color. Opacity full up to the top. Select both those layers, Control E to combine. So now we have a solid kind of grass sphere. Now I'm going to quickly do I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to do some effects on it. I'll quickly do the water, and then probably call that an episode. So Actually, I'll do this the good way. So we'll go to our pen tool down here above the type tool, and I just want to make it a bit of a curve. I don't want it to be perfect, so just make a little bit of a curve about halfway down. So select around midway, hold your click down, make a bit of a curve, and then you'll get this curve here with this big line. Now if I also click again, it would make another curve in the same direction. But if I didn't want that, I would hold Alt and I'd click on the center of the line, and it would get rid of that outer path there, which means I can draw wherever I want. So in this case, we don't want that. We just want the path like that, because it keeps it nice and flowing and it keeps it even. There won't be a sharp point in the middle there. So that looks about good. Just make it like a really subtle S shape, and then just select the rest of that tennis ball. Make a big kind of D shape like that, and then you want to right click on the screen and do make selection. If that doesn't happen, I don't know why it happens. If someone could comment why that doesn't do anything, because usually it does, but sometimes it doesn't. But if it doesn't do anything and your mouse gets that little weird star, I just go up to the top left hand corner over here and press the selection button, and then it says make selection, press OK, and then just press delete. And now we have one half of our sphere. There are some little bits up there. I'll just quickly rub them out. So that's pretty good now. Whoops. It's looking a little bit sharp on that side, so I might just blend it a little bit. So we'll get our eraser, and I'll zoom in a bit. And we want to make it quite small. And just go along the edge and just blend it a little bit, just not too much. Just feather the edge a little tiny bit, because it is a bit sharp. So I'll go along the whole thing. There. Try not to make your brush too big, because it'll look a bit odd. So nice small brush, and that's perfect. Yep. So now we want to make this look 3D. Right now it just looks like a flat image, so we really want to bring out a 3D in it. So double click on the image, not the word, because I will just rename the word. Double click either on the actual image itself or next to the word, and they'll bring up the layer properties. And we want to make it look 3D. So first we'll go to gradient overlay, because obviously the top will be darker than the bottom, because we can probably put the sun at the top. So we'll go to the very last one. If not the last one, just click on the white one, change that color to black. Or I might as well do it the hard way. Click on the second preset, because the second preset has the end of it just opaque. Double click on the little box, change it to black. So the bottom's just kind of fading black up. Press OK. And then the scale, just make the scale, drag it all the way up to the top, it just blends it a bit more. Then a blend mode, usually overlay will do the job. Yep, it's perfect. And we want to turn the opacity a bit down because it's a bit too much. So I think about 60%. Yep, looks perfect. So we've got a bit of a gradient here. It's starting to look 3D, but now we need an inner glow. So an inner glow just gives a little bit of dark around the edges, which makes it look like really 3D. So you're just going to go to your color here, and change it to black, and make sure to turn the opacity all the way up. Drag up the size a bit, and if nothing happens, it means your blend mode's not on normal, so change your blend mode to normal. Then see how the black's there now. Turn up your size about that much, should do. Make sure your choke's all the way at the bottom, and again switch the blend mode to overlay, and then just turn the opacity down a little bit. So probably 30%, maybe a little bit less, maybe 20%. So look at the difference between that flat, that round. So that's starting to look pretty 3D and it looks pretty awesome. So just press OK. And just to keep it nice and neat, we're just gonna right click and rasterize layer style, which just combines all those effects and just flattens it into a layer. So now we're going to do our water. So there's this water ball texture here, and I've already cut out the backgrounds of these textures and prepared them, so you don't have to worry about masking out the backgrounds or anything. So just drag it to the size which looks like it will fit the ball. We want the grass to be a tiny bit bigger, just because it looks a bit more realistic with the land kind of like overlapping on the water a little bit. So just press OK. It isn't the top quality, but it doesn't need to be. So a little bit down. So right there, that looks pretty good. Maybe a tiny bit bigger. So you don't want it to be perfectly level like that. You want it to be a bit in. So yeah, that looks pretty good right there. So I'll right click on that and rasterize it, and then we'll go to our file. We'll get the water ripple ball, and this is a pretty high quality one, so we don't have to worry about that bad quality. Maybe make it a little bit bigger than what it comes. That should be good. Alright, and then we're going to change our blend modes to one where you can just see the ripples coming through. So scroll through them. That one there looks pretty good. So soft light, so that's just normal, that's with the ripples, so it makes it look a lot better. So yeah, soft light 100%, and right click on it, just rasterize it. And we're going to do what we did to the grass, so we're going to select both layers, holding shift or control E to combine them. And now we're going to make it 3D like the grass also. So we'll do the gradient overlay, make sure the gradient is one with the white, double click on that, change the white, yep, to a black, okay, change it to overlay. Maybe not overlay is the best one for this, maybe just normal. Turn down the scale all the way, remember. Oh, that's better. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on then. Okay, and then yeah, make it black. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And then yeah, change it to overlay. Overlay is usually the best one. Yeah, it makes it a little bit darker. And then just leave that, and then do inner glow. And this side's actually going to be a bit exposed to the sun, so maybe like a yellowish color. Then turn it to normal. Turn up the size a bit to about that. Drag the opacity down a little bit. We'll just make it black. We'll do the shine afterwards. So turn the color to black, and then just make it normal. Just turn down the opacity a little bit. So now we have like our 3D ball. Looks pretty cool. I'll quickly just blend this center bit a little bit, and then we'll call it an episode, I think. So there's a bit of funny lines down the bottom here. I'll just quickly rub out. Just get my eraser tool and rub them out. And now I'll rasterize that water ripple to blend all the effects into the layer. We'll make a new layer between the grass and the water. We'll go to our brush tool, make sure it's just on the normal feathered brush, just a small size, about that big, and make sure the color is on black also. And so it's underneath the grass layer, yeah, on top of the water. You just want to go along the edge here and not make it too thick, but just a little kind of line blending out from the green. So that should be pretty good, and then we'll just turn down the opacity a little bit. So let's just say 50%. Yeah, that looks perfect. And I think we can make that water texture a little bit better. So I'll drag in an image now and just put this in the pack for when we start. So it will already be in the pack, because that water's good, but I think we can do a little better. Just give me a second, I'll find a better image. Okay, so I found this water image here. I believe it's actually the same one I used in this background here. So we'll just drag that into Photoshop, and it's a really nice high quality image too. So we'll just drag it down, and it's got the light coming off the waves on one side, which is good because we're going to be putting a sun at the top. So it's perfect. And just drag it to kind of fit the water size, the water side. That should be pretty good. And we'll put it below the grass layer, and then we'll do what we did before with the other one. So we'll right click, rasterize, hold control on the water layer, marquee tool, right click, select inverse, delete, which makes it the same size as the water ball. go back to our water ripple and we'll go through the blend modes, see if we can find one that just brings out the detail and the waves, because we need a little bit more detail. So we can even maybe just go to normal to turn down the opacity. That actually does a pretty good job. So we'll just go to normal, turn the opacity to 50%. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Alright, and then combine those two layers. So we've got this shadow layer in between, so make sure not to select that. Hold Control and select both the water ripple and the one we just added. And yep, so I think I'll probably call it an episode. We've got our basic ball. We've learned a bit of blending techniques, a bit of shading, and next episode we'll start in some trees and some lighting and a bunch of stuff like that. We might even be able to finish it. So tell me in the comments if you liked the tutorial, because a lot of people have been asking me for tutorials, so I thought I'd make one. So, and I might make a different series too with a different sort of tutorial, like a background tutorial, but this is a photo manipulation one. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, guys, and yeah, please give me feedback if you liked it. So yeah, make sure to keep an eye out for episode 2. I'll try releasing it in a few days, as soon as I can. So yeah, thanks guys, and have a good day.